flavor, Prime Energy Dream Pop, the flavor that'll make you cream in your dream.
Back in 2023, Prime was absolutely everywhere. With over $1.2 billion in sales, it was sold out in every supermarket and corner store. Parents were fighting in aisles like it was the WWE, and the brand had even landed sponsorships with massive names, including Barcelona. It seemed like Logan Paul and KSI had created the next Gatorade, a brand that would take over the world of hydration drinks. But just a couple of years later, things have taken a dramatic turn. Sales have plummeted by more than 90%, and bottles of Prime are now sitting in clearance sections for less than $1. What was once a billion-dollar sensation is now viewed as a massive flop weighed down by scandals, lawsuits, health concerns, and the duo's own questionable business decisions. Prime's launch back in January 2022 was a massive cultural moment. Two former boxing rivals, Logan Paul and KSI, decided to put aside their differences and team up to create a hydration drink, and the internet lost its mind over it. It was immediately compared to Gatorade, but with a fresh new twist. Logan Paul's announcement video racked up a jaw-dropping 8 million views almost instantly. Kids were waking up at 5 a.m. to line up outside corner stores just to snag a bottle. Resellers were flipping bottles for anywhere from $100 to $1,000. Prime had become the supreme of sports drinks, and the hype in the UK was even more intense. Every restock sold out in mere minutes. Some stores were even forced to hire security guards to manage the frenzy, with grown adults fighting 12-year-olds over the last bottle of Blue Raspberry. By the end of its first year, Prime had already racked up $250 million in sales, and the following year, it exploded into $1.2 billion, making it one of the fastest-growing drink brands ever. Prime wasn't just another product created by YouTubers, nor was it just another energy drink. It quickly became the biggest creator brand in history, but the meteoric rise was so fast that no one saw the cracks beginning to form underneath. Just as Prime was reaching its peak, Logan Paul's past came back to haunt him like a jump scare. A massive 3-part investigation by CoffeeZilla exposed CryptoZoo, Logan's failed NFT project that had taken millions from investors without ever delivering a functioning product.
Really fun game that makes you money.
A fun game that earns you money? How much did you guys make from CryptoZoo?
I lost around $50,000 in CryptoZoo.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around 15,000 US dollars.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000.
$500,000 Australian, which is $500,000.
The investigation uncovered missing developers, shady middlemen, and fans who had lost tens of thousands of dollars. It was a full-blown circus. Logan had spent years working to rebuild his reputation after the Japan Forest incident, but in just 1 month, it all came crashing down again. Instead of owning up to the situation, he sued CoffeeZilla, which definitely didn't scream innocent. Hiring 5 lawyers to silence a YouTuber didn't exactly help his case. Even though the crypto lawsuit eventually got dismissed, the damage was already done. Parents weren't just checking hydration labels anymore. They were Googling, who is Logan Paul? And is he a scammer? Not the best look when you're selling a drink aimed at kids. And just when Logan thought things couldn't get worse, Prime took another hit from an even bigger threat, the US government.
This morning, New York Senator Chuck Schumer is calling on the FDA to investigate the energy drink Prime, which he says is being marketed to children and contains the caffeine equivalent of 6 cans of Coca-Cola.
In July 2023, things took a major turn when Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer publicly called for an FDA investigation into Prime Energy. His concern? Prime Energy contained a massive 250 milligrams of caffeine per can, despite being marketed to minors. To put that into perspective, Coca-Cola has just 34 milligrams, and Red Bull has 80 milligrams. Prime Energy, over 200 milligrams, more than double the amount. Yet, Prime commercials were aimed at kids, influencers, and gamers, basically everyone except actual adults. Schumer accused Prime of misleading health claims, with influencer-driven marketing targeting children, while hiding dangerously high caffeine levels and lacking proper warnings. The public reaction was swift and intense. Parents, teachers, and even entire schools began abandoning Prime, treating it like forbidden contraband. But it wasn't just the caffeinated drinks that were under fire. Even the non-caffeinated Prime hydration drinks weren't safe from criticism. Nutritionists pointed out that Prime was being marketed as an elite sports drink used by professional athletes. But when you looked at the ingredients, it was basically just coconut water with a hefty dose of marketing hype. Gordon Ramsay even weighed in, tasting it and declaring it like drinking perfume. And the internet couldn't agree more.
What is that flavour you got there?
Tropical punch, it says.
Oh, Jesus.
Loosely. You've just come from the Maldives. How tropical
it's like
was that?
swallowing perfume. What is that?
Suddenly, the drink that was once selling for over $100 on the resale market had lost all of its hype. It was now struggling to even sell for $2 a bottle. As health concerns spread and hit mainstream media, things only got worse. Schools began banning Prime altogether. First, Australian schools banned it, then British schools followed suit. Even schools across the US started to crack down, as teachers didn't want kids walking into math class with 200 milligrams of caffeine in their system, shaking like they had just fought a demon in the bathroom. Prime went from being the cool drink to the one you'd get suspended for bringing to school. It was no longer the hottest trend, but a liability. In a desperate attempt to rehab their image and get back on track, Logan and KSI teamed up with MrBeast to launch Lunchly, a direct competitor to Lunchables aimed at kids. The collaboration was an effort to shift their focus and tap into a different market entirely, but whether it could undo the damage Prime had caused remained to be seen.
Lunchly versus Lunchables.
With Lunchly, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime has no sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
Crunch Bar.
Whoa.
Feastables Crunch Bar. Our pizza uses real cheese. Theirs, as it says on their box, is mozzarella pasteurized prepared cheese product. They can't even call it real cheese. We're also 30 less calories, 3 less grams of fat, and 8 less grams of sugar.
The kits were essentially a tiny, underpowered meal, a piece of Feast chocolate, and a Prime drink. It was a perfect example of brand synergy, but the backlash came almost immediately. Dan Tedium accused Logan, KSI, and MrBeast of exploiting kids for profit, and his tweet went viral within hours. Shortly after, Dr. Mike released a video breaking down the nutritional content of the Lunchly meals, pointing out that each kit only contained 230 calories, far below the typical 625 calories a child's lunch should have. To get enough energy for the day, a kid would need to eat 3 of these kits, but doing so would overload them with excessive sodium, which raised even more concerns. The reaction to Lunchly was swift and harsh, with many questioning the ethics behind the product's design.
They aren't healthy to consume often, period.
First claim from Lunchly is that it's healthier than market leader Lunchables. But the YouTube doctor noted that it's very difficult to accept that.
I don't have nutrition facts for each part of the kits. How many calories come from Feastables versus the food component?
However, Dr. Mike does give Lunchly some wins.
What I was able to conclude, Lunchly has less sugar and therefore less calories, slightly less sodium and saturated fat, does use real cheese.
However, the good doctor went on to compare Lunchly's nutritional values to the guidelines set forward by the USDA.
Less than 10% of calories should come from saturated fat. Less than 10% of calories should come from added sugars.
So then, is it healthier or not? Well, the problem is, it doesn't matter, as the box is officially classed as a UPF, which are linked to cancer and obesity.
And because they fall into the category of ultra-processed food.
And then, things got even worse when Anna Panino decided to open a Lunchly kit on camera, only to discover that the food inside was covered in mold. The video quickly went viral, making an already bad situation 10 times worse, as it added a whole new layer of controversy to the already heavily criticized product.
These are molded. Okay, so these ones are supposed to be good until December, and we just got them from the store. It says used by December 8th, 2024, and today's date is October 16th. So these are supposed to be good for like another 2 months. This is molded. That's mold. This is not safe, especially like kids that are so young. They may not know what mold looks like, so they might just eat it.
They were essentially shipping moldy lunches to kids. The whole point of Lunchly was to help Logan Paul and KSI redeem their reputations and prove to the world that they were serious businessmen. Instead, it quickly turned into one of the worst PR disasters of the year, and there was a big problem. Prime wasn't just struggling on its own anymore. Sure, kids had short attention spans, and the hype had already started to die down, but Lunchly's failure added fuel to the fire. Now these two looked like massive clowns with not one, but 2 failed businesses. By 2024, things went from bad PR to call a lawyer immediately. A class action lawsuit revealed that Prime's popular flavors allegedly contained more than 3 times the recommended lifetime limit of forever chemicals, a group of substances linked to long-term health risks. As you can imagine, this sparked outrage across the board. Parents panicked, stores pulled stock, and the media headlines were insane. The sales crashes that followed were even more brutal. In the UK, sales plummeted by 70% year over year, with revenue falling from $12 million to just $3.3 million. In the US, profits were down 92%, and sales dropped 40% in the first half of 2024 alone. By 2025, Prime wasn't selling out, it was being cleared out. Stores were slashing prices, with bottles going for less than $1. Dollar stores were even putting Prime in the "Please Take Me" section. It was sad to see, especially when you think about it. Not many people genuinely enjoyed drinking Prime. It was more about the status of having it. Kids were buying it simply because everyone else was. It became a manufactured hype. Kids love trends, but once the trend dies, so does the product. Remember fidget spinners back in 2015? They were everywhere, but who's buying fidget spinners in 2025? If you thought Logan Paul's crypto zoo scam was bad, well, let's talk about KSI and his own questionable dealings. CoffeeZilla dropped yet another investigation, this time into KSI, and it revealed that KSI had hyped up XCAD, a cryptocurrency, and told fans he was holding onto it. Then, almost immediately after, he dumped $150,000 worth of the coin, right after tweeting about how excited he was. His wallet started selling off as if the IRS was chasing him. Fans were outraged and felt completely betrayed. KSI's good guy image evaporated overnight. Suddenly, the founders of Prime looked like a pair of crypto scammers, selling a children's drink while making multi-billion-dollar brand deals. It didn't matter that the scams weren't directly tied to Prime. It was all about public perception, and Logan and KSI had completely lost the trust of their audience. But the hits kept coming. In late 2024, Prime got hit with more lawsuits, this time from within their own supply chain. One of Prime's manufacturing partners, Refresco, one of the largest beverage bottlers in the world, filed a lawsuit against Prime's parent company, claiming they owed $68 million. Refresco alleged that Prime had bailed on a massive 3-year bottling deal after the hype died down. According to the lawsuit, Prime had initially guaranteed a minimum of 18.5 million cases a year and pressured Refresco to invest in special lines and equipment to create custom bottles. But once Prime's sales dropped, they allegedly abandoned the agreement, leaving the bottler holding millions in unsold inventory and sunk costs. Refresco wasn't the only one taking legal action. Reports later surfaced that other vendors and suppliers were also chasing unpaid bills, as Prime's growth stalled and cash flow tightened. And if that wasn't enough, Prime received another blow from an unexpected place: the Olympics. In July 2024, the US Olympic and Paralympic Committee filed a lawsuit against Prime Hydration for trademark infringement. The committee accused the company of using protected terms like Olympic, Olympian, Team USA, and Going for Gold on a Kevin Durant collaboration flavor and online promotions, all without permission. It was a massive embarrassment and further eroded what little credibility Prime had left in the eyes of the public.
Prime's getting sued like crazy. The Prime bottles, they sponsor Kevin Durant, the basketball player. And because Kevin Durant is on the Olympic basketball team, the NBA guys actually go to the Olympics.
Yeah, right.
So they thought, okay, we paid sponsorship money to Kevin Durant, and he's on the Olympic team. So now we're gonna put out Prime bottles, Kevin Durant, all the Olympic rings and everything. And the International Olympic Committee is suing Prime because, like, whoa, you've got your bottles with our Olympic logos. Like, that's super not okay, because the Olympics, they need a ton of money for all the uniforms and everything, and it all comes from, you gotta pay to put the Olympic logos on stuff. And Prime paid Kevin Durant. Prime did not pay the Olympics, so their exposure in that lawsuit is pretty major.
Coca-Cola already pays millions to be the exclusive Olympic beverage sponsor, so the lawsuit claimed Prime tried to ride the Olympic image and look like the official Team USA drink without permission. It made customers think Prime was legit when it wasn't. Prime didn't fall just because the hype faded. It collapsed because Logan Paul and KSI damaged their own brand, misleading customers, marketing unsafe products to kids, facing government investigations, shipping moldy lunches, and getting exposed in crypto scandals while avoiding accountability. Prime could have been a long-term success, but it turned into one of the fastest creator downfalls ever. They proved you can't build a global brand on hype and scandals because it always catches up. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment. I read every single one.